All right, class. Now we got a, what the hell is this thing? 2019 Hyundai Tucson. It's got about 130,000 miles on it. It's never been here before. The guy's bringing it in because he's got a cylinder misfire. And according to the customer, he's got cylinder 2 misfiring. It's got a rough idle, obviously. Engine shaking. He's already put 4 plugs in it. He's put new coil packs, and he's put a new PCV valve in it. Apparently, he's also done a compression test on it, and 1 and 3 have 155 PSI. Cylinder 2's got 35 PSI. That's fine that he did it, but we're going to verify that that's correct. We're going to do a compression test on it. These GDI motors are notorious for having carbon problems, so we're going to see if that's the problem with this one. So we'll do a compression test, and then we're going to do a cylinder leak down test with a differential pressure tester. I think that's what they're called. So we'll go ahead and get this thing hooked up. I plugged in the Autel. We've got cylinder 2 and cylinder 1 misfires. It's got a code in here for lost communication with fuel pump control module. That could be if the customer unplugged the fuel pump relay when he was doing his compression test, so that's in the history. And it's got a random multiple misfire detected. Cylinder 1 is pending. That may be a sympathetic misfire just from cylinder 2 missing. I've seen that before. I've also seen on these that it would show a different cylinder. I had a Hyundai Accent that showed cylinder 4 misfiring when it was actually cylinder 3. So we'll get set up on here, and we'll show the compression test results and go from there. All right, first things first, we're gonna pop this cover off. That's gonna go over here. Cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4 in order on this car. Your mileage may vary. So there's that. Coil's gotta come out. I'm gonna pull a spark plug out. Already verified this thing's missing like crazy, so I'm not gonna bore you with the details of starting it up and you guys not being able to feel it miss. Take my word for it. All right, there goes the coil. I need a spark plug socket. Let me go grab one. It is not that one. Watch it. Dropping plugs. Dropping sockets. There we go. All right. My stupid O-ring's worn out on my spark plug socket. Gotta get the old magnet. Time to get a new spark plug socket. All right. Yep, there she is, brand new. All right, so we're gonna take that out. Got our compression tester. So let's make sure we grab the right one. Line it up with the spark plug socket. That's not that one. It's gonna be the skinny girl. Let me just pull the fuel injector relay. No, it's straightforward on this one. Fuel pumps right here. She's stuck. Hold on a sec. All right, let's see here. Let's see if I can put this on the gauge or on the screen. Go ahead, crank her over. That's it? All right. Perfect, thanks, John. Just leave the key in the on position. All right, we got 32 PSI, so the customer was correct. Let's see here. Okay, so now that we know we've got no pressure in that hole, let's try the one next to it, just to verify. So we're gonna do the same thing. And I know there's going to be guys that say, oh, you got to pull all the spark plugs. You've got to pull all the... No, you don't. That's fine. You guys battle it out and with your own opinions. I don't really care. We'll do number one. I can get to her easier. Go ahead. All right, good. All right, yeah. Wow. 180 on cylinder one. So she's got some juice. More than likely, we're dealing with a bad valve. More than likely. More than likely. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a differential pressure tester. Don't use the same one from the compression tester. Very important. So I think the one in the compression tester has a valve. Yeah, it does. I'll show you why. Very important. Compression tester, if you're gonna do this, see how it's got a Schrader valve right in the center of it? The differential pressure tester does not, because it's pumping air directly into the cylinder, and if it had a Schrader valve, it wouldn't be able to overcome that pressure. I found that out the hard way. All right, so this will go back in the kit. Thanks, John, appreciate it. We already know what this is gonna be. We already know. All right, so what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to take the engine and crank it over so that this cylinder is sticking straight up. I do have access. So we're going to crank her over. Let's see. Okay. So we're cranking the engine over, and we want the piston to come up all the way. So it's either on its exhaust stroke or its compression stroke. Or, yeah, compression stroke. And I don't know yet, so it's one or the other, and I don't want to take the valve cover off to see if the valves are all closed, because they're either going to be all closed up top. So as this keeps going up, eventually going to stop. So we could be right there. All right. Pressure tester. So we're going to shoot pressure. All right, so basically the way this thing works is we put shop air in this thing and it's regulated. It's gonna show how much air is going in, and then it's gonna show how much is going out. If this number is high, just like the other one, then that's good. If it's not good. I don't even know what it's set at right now. Well, we got 80 pounds going in it, 82. Only 10 is staying in it. So that's terrible. So what we can do, let me go around the back first. Let's see, it's either gonna be coming out of the intake if we've got a leak, or it's gonna be coming out of the exhaust. I can hear a leak. All right, let me go around by the exhaust. Stupid compressors, they always got to turn on at the wrong freaking time. So, all right, so Here's what we'll try doing. I don't know if this is going to work out really well. So let's try this. All right. Here's what's funny. Check this out. So if you go underneath the car and put your hand on the tailpipe, it's actually pushing. Now, just to make sure, but if that's the bad culprit right there, then that would be the exhaust valves burnt, just like the other ones. So we'll see, because we'll do the same thing. We'll take this off. If you look on here, 80 PSI, 10 is in the car, right? So all I gotta do,
80 PSI is what you're putting in.
I'm putting 80 PSI in it.
10 is all it's holding.
Exactly. It's a differential pressure tester. If I put 80 PSI in and then there was still 80 PSI in there, then I know I'm good. I'm not losing anything. Right now I'm losing it. But here goes this one. Yeah, we're still at 10. So either way, we're shot. It doesn't matter what stroke we're on, we're shot. The exhaust valve's stuck open. So I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the case. Here's why. Let's see if I can move the camera. We've got a 2013 Accent sitting over there, and here's the valve out of it, right? This is the exhaust valve. You can see the pizza pie that's missing on it. They get carboned up. It's been cleaned up a lot already. Gets carbon on it because the valves are so hot and there's no fuel to wash the valves and clean them. So all that carbon gets on there, and then the temperatures get too high for these valves and they just burn. So on that one, I'll grab the camera and show you what we did. So on this one, we're actually still working on it. It got a new head because the machine shops around here don't want to mess with these. They just want to replace the heads. And I don't blame them because all the valves are carboned up like crazy. So it's got a new head, it's getting new chains, new guides. This is more of like a side project car actually. I'll show you the head over here. So here's the head off of the car. You can see how nasty these valves are. Look at that. They're all carboned up in there. This is just the core, so I don't care. There was the bad valve on there, and these are all carboned up. The top of the pistons were nasty, so we knew what it was. These Hyundais aren't made to last. Both of these cars have 130,000 miles on them. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to leave this up to the customer to ultimately decide what they want to do. I'll let them make the call. But we know this thing's shot. We'll see if he wants to buy a head. It's a nice car. But this is why the Hyundai dealers are trying to get customers to do a carbon decleaning, or decarboning cleaning rather, on these motors. Some of them are doing it every 15,000 miles. And try selling that to a customer. Try telling them, hey, every other oil change, if you base on their oil change schedules, every other oil change, you're going to have to decarbon your engine and get it out. I know some of the newer model vehicles, if it's Hondas and Toyotas, some of them are putting a port fuel injector in the intake manifold, so it will actually spray fuel into the intake. The way this setup is designed, actually, I'll use that other car as an example, since everything's apart. The fuel injectors are direct injected, meaning they fire directly in the cylinder. You can see down here, oh shoot, no, don't do that. Nobody wants to see my ugly mug. If you look in here, the fuel injectors sit right below the intake ports. On an old car, or older vehicles, the intake manifold had the injectors shooting the fuel into the injector, or into the, geez, I can't talk today, in the manifold. and that would actually have the fuel go through wash over the intake valves and keep everything nice and clean. Unfortunately, I'm going to let the guy make the decision on what he wants to do. I don't have a problem putting a head on it. It ain't no big deal. But if that's what he wants to do, that's fine. It's not going to be cheap because we're going to do a head. We're going to do new chains. We're going to do new guides. All that stuff has to come off. If he decides to do it, I'll show a breakdown on it of what we're doing. I'm not going to do a how-to video because it's a lot of work for somebody to do themselves. If they want to do it, that's fine. I don't care. But this isn't a how-to video. This is a why this is happening on these cars. And this is what happens on these cars. That's all this video is for. So if he decides to ultimately do the job, great. We'll show it all apart. We'll show the valve being burnt. We'll show the top of the pistons. I guarantee they're going to be carboned up like crazy. And then we'll show the whole process of having it apart, having it go back together, and then starting it and running it after the fact. And then we'll go from there. So just stay tuned. All right, bad news. Customer declined the repairs. I was really hoping that actually he wanted to do it because I wanted to make another follow-up video on how we did all this. By the time it was all said and done, if I got all the parts from the dealership, it would have been a crap ton. I mean, the guy would have been spending about $5,000, $6,000 just to have a head put on this thing. You can't get a head from the dealer complete. You got to buy the head, 2 cams, 16 valves, 16 springs. I was going to put new timing chains and timing chain and tensioner on it. All that stuff. So you can't get any of it individually, like as a complete set, rather. The guy doesn't want to put the money into it. I don't blame them. He may trade it in at this point, but it's unfortunate that these cars now are doing that. But I mean, we're just here to fix them and diagnose them. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll get one in here that somebody will actually want to replace, and we'll just do that. So until next time, we'll see you.